TUP takes the mountain. That will be the next juicy target. That is going to be the ace. UP Diliman, 16 and 7. Will they be able to finish this? Oh,
Here in the hands of JPL. They are set to finish this game. Let's see.
Ladies and gents, we are back for Game 2 of our first match for the semifinals for the Lenovo LOL Collegiate League. Of course, before anything else, we are going to be your casters for today, Arctic at Yo Service Fam, and with me is Rockhard.
That's right. And this is going to be a great Game 2. Exciting Game 1, not as balanced as you might think. We had a few, we have great, even though TUP did win, we had like great highlights from UC as well, especially Aquinos on that Zaya. What can you say about the lineup that UC drafted for that?
Well, I think the draft was okay. It could have been better.
Yeah.
But the thing is that since it was okay, there was that condition wherein all the more they had to execute their win conditions to the T. But unfortunately, early game that didn't happen. But like I mentioned, because of those, because the weaknesses were very evident, and in my opinion, because they're so evident, they're actually very easy to correct. So it starts from the drafting phase. Just those small adjustments would make the difference for University of Cordilleras. Like I mentioned, I still have faith in them that they could potentially go for a win in the second match. But of course, TUP clearly a very dominant team. So, tignan natin.
I like the draft that TUP did though. Usually, what they would do is they would like draft their way around Acedia, which wasn't really the case in the game that we just saw. He was on a Fizz that was really dominant, but the other lanes like were actually kind of standalone, where you could actually work as even without Acedia's help, and it was really safe as well. Meanwhile, on the other side of the table, though, we have UC Mob here. Sort of got into a bit of a losing matchup between Fizz. What do you say about the Rumble pick? I mean, what was the mindset that UC had against this Rumble pick?
Oh man, absolutely crazy. I think that first game, because like during game where they're kind of weighing each other out, if anything, probably Mob, he wanted to see, put it to the test if he could actually go head-to-head with Acedia. But the problem was that the fact that it was a Rumble versus Fizz matchup, not only do you find yourself in that awkward position of being at a disadvantage with the champion pick, at the same time, you give Acedia that leeway. Like I mentioned, TUP, Acedia is such a strong link. So that was, it's like a double negative for University of the Cordilleras.
So I guess we'll have to see what kind of changes UC is going to have to make, because we saw that earlier. Nunu was actually really great. He took that Drake, the Mountain Drake, really fast. But after that, it kind of fell off a bit in terms of tempo, I guess, where there wasn't really much to be had. Then we saw Acedia go with that first blood on top, and he went 2-0 fairly fast after that. And I guess what we're trying to say here is what kind of changes UC would want to make. Do you think they'll have to change their jungler into something more of something that will influence the lanes a lot more, like maybe a faster gank with the Graves, or maybe a utility jungler, or maybe some. I guess the big change that we're gonna have to look at maybe is the top.
Definitely.
Because you saw that Acedia was on a fighter. You think that Mob, he might have fared well. Maybe he could have tried to duel out Acedia, but I think what his mindset was is maybe he wasn't confident in fighting Acedia one-on-one, so maybe he opted into a more of a mage, wherein he didn't really build mage at all. You saw the downfall that UC also had was Mob. He landed some great equalizers, guys. I don't know if you saw, but they weren't really doing much damage. So maybe Mob might want to make some changes. What do you think?
Yeah, exactly. One of the things that I feel like UC could really do, of course, Mob, given the fact that, I mean, he should have learned this lesson during that first game, where he clearly, unless he has the champion advantage, maybe he could go head-to-head with Acedia. But I feel like it would be much more beneficial. Like I mentioned, I'm such a fan of Aquinos, probably one of my favorite AD carries in the top 4 right now. That being said, if they just focus fire on trying to get Aquinos to a place where he could just hard carry the rest of his teammates, and I feel like that would be a great thing. So that being said, maybe Mob could go for a more utility top, go for these more tanky champions, wherein all he has to do is just wait out the early game. Again, patience is such a critical thing in League of Legends, and UC really needs to take that into account, especially when you're up against a team such as TUP, wherein you have these players that could just really skyrocket if left unchecked within the first few minutes of the game.
That's right.
But yeah, going into the pick and ban, what can you say about the ban so far, man?
Ban so far, we know that Kled is more of a... This Kled can actually go either way. We've seen Acedia become very effective in this Kled. As for the other side, we have fairly standard Zac. We don't want Zac anywhere near anyone at all right now, because as teams have actually figured out in the past few games, internationally and locally, he's OP as, you know, like one of the best junglers you could pick, and pro teams are gonna take advantage of that. So that's one of the reasonings behind the ban there. So we have a lock-in of a Caitlyn for UC. Akinos definitely they played a really safe lane earlier with the Zaya and Bard, who have both great disengages. I think they're gonna keep that theme here on this bot lane. Meanwhile, on the other side, wow, we have Draven, man. That's a Draven and a Lulu. I think we've seen this before. Not as effective as it was, because those are some pretty great games as well. We've seen Dravens work quite well with Lulu, because they've been able having a safe lane for Draven actually enables that snowball power. So that's really great. So thoughts on your top lane? What kind of top lane do you think is going to be picked by TUP here? Do you think he's going to maintain his momentum here and maybe pick some sort of strong bruiser, or maybe do you want him go on something else?
Well, you know, at the end of the day for TUP, as long as they give something to Acedia that'll grant him carry potential,
right,
as long as there's the element of damage, then it's mission accomplished for TUP. Because if anything, it would almost be a waste to not put Acedia on those type of champions. That being said, I actually like the Caitlyn pick for Akinos here. Definitely, but just as Asaya, you know, the range, there's
right,
definitely a lot more that you can do, the carry potential as well in a way. I gotta hand it to TUP though. I'm actually quite surprised by the Draven pick. If anything, I feel like they should really respect the power that Akinos has. Like I mentioned, he's one of the stronger lanes, along with Hong. I forget to mention, Hong is definitely one of my favorite supports as well. If anything, probably next to Neat in terms of the supports that we have in the LCL right now for the top 4. So that being said, this is actually I find this a very risky Draven. Sure, you actually have a Lulu, which Misen is efficient at, but then again, we did see earlier that even though TUP got the supports that they like, it still resulted to Akinos actually outsmarting them within the first game, getting that 1 kill. Still, that was a 2v2, so proven.
Yeah, that is true. Akinos, despite their team being behind a lot of the for the most part of the game, he was actually going in with a lot of feather callers. He was able to pick a lot from TUP, and that's something you don't want to belittle on the side of UC. Power of Akinos on a great... when you get in a great positional AD carry, he's at... Whoa! Wait a second. We have a Jarvan locked in for the top lane, and an Olaf as well. This is going to be a great fight. So apparently, Mob wants to duel Akinos on the top. What do you think about that? We have a Renekton for Acedia, man.
Man, I don't know. But
this is...
Well, then again, I mean, that is a Jarvan. Sure, we have seen Jarvan go for damage, but maybe... I mean, if you can look at Jarvan, he actually has this tools for a great setup as well. You have a great engage in a way because of the Cataclysm. You could catch out members of TUP. At the same time, there's like you could use Jarvan offensively or defensively. I'm hoping that Mob learned his lesson. Probably will go for a more defensive Jarvan, because if it goes for a more offensive, I'm kind of worried for Mob, because again, game 1 clearly showed, again, a lesson should have been learned there. So we'll just have to, but then again, I'm really excited. Looking at the overall composition, there's just so much room for Akinos to just really skyrocket if they utilize this composition correctly.
That's right, and especially if Akinos does get in position for a great Jarvan ultimate, basically the whole team is also, we have an Olaf, right? So he's gonna go like berserk on everyone, and it's gonna get everyone's attention. If you get a greatly positioned Akinos with Talia blocking off exits, this is actually a great composition, I guess, for UC. So they want to play against They want to play with their strengths. They don't want to necessarily counter what TUP has. So UC is opting for that more of a holistic approach. So I guess they want to go on like a death ball here, I guess. Meanwhile, on TUP side, they're going all in with the offense. So I guess they're feeling very confident about their mechanics as well. And we'll see where we end up.
Yeah,
the line
so
crafted.
that being said, of course, let's go ahead and check out what the thoughts are. Like you mentioned, we talk about Acedia and Mob here. Let's go ahead and check out what they have to say about going into this game.
Mukha ko lang yung mga comfort picks ko against Acedia. I think kaya ko naman siya tapatan. Nakikita ko sa playstyle niya, halos parehas kami ng playstyle na aggressive na top laner na gusto duel ng duel lang sa top. Mainly kay Acedia sila naka-focus ng rotation nila. So pag na hold down ko si Acedia, feeling ko kayang-kaya namin manalo.
Sa mga ibang games rin, yung nata-target ban ako. Parang wala lang. Parang feel ko respetado ako. Syempre, nata-target ban ka nga. Parang tingin ka rin naman, hindi naman talaga ako sobrang lakas talaga para ma-target ban eh. Tapos, ayun nga, kung nata-target ban ako, marami rin kasi ako champs ginagamit. Hindi naman siguro sa lahat na master ko, pero halos lahat ata ng top lane champs ginagamit ko. Kaya, ayun.
And ladies and gents, looks like we'll just have to see how that works out as we head into Game 2 of the first matchup for the semifinals for the Lenovo Lowell Collegiate League between University of the Cordilleras and Technological University of the Philippines. Of course, what can you say about that video though, Rockhart? I mean, Mob, very confident. I'm not sure if that confidence will transition into the second game. Acedia, though, at the same time, you know what's funny about Acedia is that there's that humble. He's very he's saying like he feels the respect, pero parang he's saying at the same time that he shouldn't be banned out. Probably he doesn't consider himself like it's like polar opposites, man. What do you think?
That's right. So Mob here feels confident. That's probably why. Wait, hold on.
Oh.
We have a small invade. I think they're just gonna disengage really safe because of course TUP is not in a position at all to counter this. Meanwhile, so about Mob's confidence, that's actually really great. So in any player, you want that confidence because you don't want the people to have a mindset of you being down because that's just gonna down you even more. So you wanna try and up your game. And basically, what Mob said is that he wants to like just hold the fort against Acedia, and he thinks when he does that, he's gonna win. They're gonna win. So I think that's basically what he's gonna try to do. He wants to go on this pseudo what do you call this fighter in the form of Jarvan. I think he just wants to start the engagement, and he wants the rest of the team to more go on the fight. Meanwhile, Acedia, he knows he's shown that he has a great champ pool. And he's not actually afraid to use it, and he seems to be very proficient. So I kind of like how Acedia also takes the mindset where he doesn't get tilted, apparently. And
oh no, though, this is a lot of action happening. Only 2 minutes in the game. That's gonna be first blood, though. Going to Navi will be going down, though, in exchange to Akinos, though. Akinos gonna be running away as Misi and trying to do the finishing blow, but still a lot of health. But yeah, if you look at that trade, though, Akinos definitely coming up at the better hand, as that is the AD carry down for TUP.
That's right, that cash in as well. Although that cash in might have equalized the gold there for a bit. With Akinos, he will have that wave to deal with, and Misa is just gonna have to hold down the line. Meanwhile, we have Kha'Zix slowly making his way to the top, so I think we might also see some top pressure from the side of TUP. And Acedia, he's gonna try to he might have to get the wave in position for a dive, although because they're pretty far down in the lane, so that might not happen soon. Although for the middle, looks like we're gonna see something happen.
Oh no, Kisi though has to be a bit more careful with the positioning, especially since he's leaning towards the upper part just a little bit. And Chan will really make things happen, though. That's gonna be the stun on. Will Kisi be able to escape, though? That is gonna be the barrier to save his life.
Wow, that was great. That was 2 summoners burned for basically nothing on the side of TUP. That is going to be a safe zone, a danger zone right now on top.
Yeah, there we go. Acedia actually gonna be chased down by these two members of UC. That is gonna force the flash away from Acedia though. And will he be able to survive? Survives with a slither of health. But then again, wow. A lot of action happening first few minutes of the game.
Yeah, we're seeing that shouldn't have actually happened because Cry is an Olaf. You don't expect him to be that effective in the ganking at this point in the game because he doesn't really have that much damage and he doesn't even have the move speed. So it's either you should have seen that coming or maybe you should have just opted safe and just guessed that he would be there and walk up to the lane at that point because you haven't seen him in a while.
There we go. So, I mean, what's really interesting here is that I'm loving the proactivity that University of the Cordilleras has. Like I mentioned, they are being much more proactive, and looking at the itemization path for Mob, I'm not sure where this Ruby Crystal maybe would be a defensive or offensive item, because technically it could potentially lead to a Black Cleaver, maybe a Titanic Hydra, although probably not, or maybe a more tanky item such as there's just so many different options with this basic Ruby Crystal. I'm actually interested in seeing what direction this will be going for Mob. Like I mentioned, is he going to go offensive, which I technically hope not, because defensive I feel like he'll be much more stronger in these clashes.
That's right, and you also want that defensive option. That's because that works well with Doran's shield. Because yun yung nagpapatagal sa inyo sa lane eh. And that's what, that's like we said, that's what Mob wants to do. He wants to last in lane with Acedia, and I think since both summoners are down for Acedia, it's a great point of contention. Again, very deep in the lane. Built in na kay Renekton eh. He's gonna use his AoE, and basically on the bottom lane though, I think now he's going quite deep. Almost there on the border of the attack range. Malapit na, and something could happen here because we also see Olaf on the body. Oh, flash there by Misa.
Flash though, will he be able to survive though? That's gonna be the third shot though. And Navi has to be careful though, very far in. Will be going down to Cry. UC off to a great start, a different UC that we're seeing in comparison to game 1.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of times where TUP is very deep in the lane without supporting wards. That is not characteristic, and we might have to see that change soon. Or else, you see, nako, they're gonna take advantage, and you know they will.
And you know what's really tricky here is that I feel like TUP, although I understand the confidence after coming off of a great one, looking at the draft here, it's actually a little bit more high. It's a little bit more dangerous in a sense. But here we go. Though we have a flash. UC actually will be able to escape though. Kisi, good position here, is under turret, so no further aggressiveness could come from TUP. But yeah, as I was saying, what's interesting here about TUP is there's actually a lot of ways this could go wrong if their positioning is left unchecked, because there's a lot of damage, sure. But, Kisi though gets bursted down. Will Bomb survive? Actually gets a turret shot, so that's going to be a trade-off in the mid lane.
Yeah, that's a 1-for-1. Yeah, although we'll say a bit in favor of TUP because the lane is pushed down. The wave is going to crash into the turret, although that's going to be a summoner expended for Bam, and he will be a prime target again for Cry for a gank. I don't know how much more damage TUP can sustain because despite being below here, right now on the bottom.
No. Akinos dealing a lot of damage onto Navi, and here comes Cry. Akinos actually, how has the confidence Hong forced the flash away, but Navi trying to see what he can do. Akinos ultimately getting the kill.
What is happening? Sobrang confident ata ng TUP. They are pushing down lanes. Although there was a ward, they could have sensed Olaf was nowhere to be found, and they could have guessed he was coming. But that was a really easy gank for Olaf. He did not expend too much in order to push that advantage. The Draven, kind of, yeah. I guess what's happening here is a Draven, right? Yeah. If he wants to have an advantage, kailangan napwesto siya in a sense, in a place where kind of risky din, di ba? That's the problem that we have with this Raven pick. Yung range niya, medyo alanganin. Plus, you have to juggle those axes if you want to be effective. Kaya yun, bagsak tuloy.
Yeah, and you know what's tricky here is that because you have to keep on catching those axes, when you're up against a Caitlyn and a Bard, it's actually tricky because Caitlyn could trap you into the positioning. It makes it easier for him, actually, for Akinos. Not to mention Hong as well. Like, if it just so happens that that axe falls in a position that's near the wall, it's an easy stun for Hong at the same time. So again, TUP. I mentioned confidence. If anything, they were a little bit overconfident with this draft, in my opinion. Sure, it's actually still a logical draft, but then again, this is a draft that you have to be a little bit more careful because there's a lot of vulnerable elements to this, especially that Draven. High risk, high reward, not really reaping the rewards just yet.
Especially in this early game, di ba? I mean, okay yung Draven pag tumagal, let's say if it comes into mid game and you haven't sustained that much casualties, but right now you're one free Draven and you're actually behind on CS. Despite great plays from Misa, and he's trying to be proactive. He's flashing in for the kills. He wants to give Hong those kills, but he's kind of taking it for himself instead. Misa, and so that's kind of backfiring on them. So I guess they want to play more safe. They want to extend that ward line deeper into the river and into the tri-bush maybe of the blue side, so they'll play safer. But on doing that, medyo mabibehind sila.
Definitely. And wow, I mean, what the interesting thing here is that, like I mentioned, TUP has to respect the bot lane of University of the Cordilleras. Like I mentioned, I keep on championing Akinos and Hong as the saving grace for UC here, and with very good reason. If you're going to look at the champions that Hong has been using thus far in comparison to Misen, he likes to go for more utility-safe supports.
Right.
Hong, he likes going for the extremes. One moment you could see him on a very squishy but damage-efficient Zyra. The next, you see him on the Thresh and Bard. Both very high skill cap champions, and the fact that he makes very good use of those champions, it's very clear as to how powerful a support and how mechanically skilled Hong is. Pair that with a powerful AD carry like Akinos. As you can see, 3-1 on the skate lane, and they're not even 10 minutes into this game just yet. There's just so much TUP has to work with right now, and I feel like at this point, because Navi is a little bit on the lower end of the spectrum right now for TUP, it's up to Asidia Chan and Bomb to kind of balance that out, because if they themselves couldn't really get things going on, then like we mentioned, we kept on championing Asidia as well as one of the saving graces for TUP in exchange. Asidia himself, one man, couldn't carry that team alone. That's
right, and what's happening with Asidia here is he's not getting the advantages that he's so used to. Although he does have a CS advantage, it's not translating into anything as of this moment. So they'll have to wait until we see a lot of teleport plays happen before this CS advantage can take it. But right now, I think UC is in position.
There we go, no cry. There goes the Tempered Fate to stop the tower aggression. That's going to be the double kill. Going to Cry. UC back in the game.
Yeah, that was very clean for UC. They planned that out really carefully. Watching the turret, watching where TUP was, and they really utilized Hong's mechanical ability, like you said, in order to set that up perfectly. And right now, TUP is actually feeling really mad. And on top of that tower, UC is also gonna claim this Ocean Drain.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh my god.
And what's really interesting here is that, in all fairness to TUP, despite the deficiency that they're having in the bot lane, which is very heavy, finally, UC really capitalizing on what strengths they have with their player base here. Commendably, if you're going to look at the gold difference, though, it's actually not that as big as you'd expect, despite the many kills UC has conquered. And why? Because of these champions in the gold difference.
You see here, Cry very confident with the communication here that they're going to go for Navi, and then they're going to go for Misa N. And that's basically on the duration of Hong's Tempered Fate. That's really well calculated, and that was very clean.
And yeah, look at the gold difference here. So for Renekton, I mean, like I mentioned, the saving grace for TUP here, it's these small things, the CS. Look at Asidia and Bam. Like, the difference is absolutely huge. 30 CS for Asidia, almost ranging from 30 to 40 for Bam. So if TUP can capitalize on these small differences, then they're still very much in the running right now. But one thing they have to be concerned with right now is Navi can't really do much once these clashes and skirmishes start. So it's up to them to try to find a way to shut down Akinos, because as far as I'm concerned, Akinos is on fire.
That's right. TUP going in on Akinos.
So this is what we're talking about. They're trying to take down Akinos, but Akinos actually survives. This is UC's time to actually gets the kill onto all. TUP forced to back away, though Navi actually trying to deal damage that he can. Actually, retaliation is real. John getting the kill, shut down onto Cry. That is going to be the double kill though for Kisi. That's going to be a 2 for 2 thus far. Mob making some work as well. Ultimately 3 for 2 in favor of University of the Cordilleras.
Wow, that was really well set up. And for a minute there, you thought that TUP might have had advantage. They were pressing the advantage after they got the kill, but and they were actually overcalculated. You see here, their great positioning from Talia's ultimate. Everyone was actually in the wrong position. UC is namatay si Bard, and basically they had free reign. Cry was not doing much damage, and he was being kited really badly. So akala nila kaya na, di ba? Kaso, boom! Basically, the damage from Kisi, really well timed. Hindi siya nagpanic, and that's an advantage. Ito pa si Mob, clean na pa. Ayan, boom.
Boom. Panis.
Puro sabog, eh. That's like really great from UC. UC for not losing their cool in those situations where they seem to be in a bad position. They know that they have these damage bursts, and they took advantage of that, and that's why they came ahead on top.
And you know what's problematic for TUP at the same time? Sure, they were able to get kills in that clash as well, but they went to the least optimal targets. Like, one of the kills, sure, Chan is actually one of those people you want to give it to, but the fact that one of the kills went to Mise N, not exactly the person you want to really give these kills to when you're
Speaking
behind.
of Chan though, that's another kill for
no.
Chan. Basically a 2-on-1.
Yeah.
He was able to eke out a lot of damage. Meanwhile, in the mid lane,
Yeah, mid lane right now looks like we might actually see some level of setup here for Bam. Look at this, trying to clear out this wave here. Actually very pushed in. Unfortunately, UC really couldn't do that much with that mid lane right there, but still, it doesn't really matter right now because they are in the lead. The ball is in their court. But then again, you have to be careful. They don't want to give those small victories to TUP that'll allow them to slowly get back into this game, because that goal difference is actually still pretty narrow.
that's right. TUP, despite being down a lot in kills and global objectives, they're actually quite ahead in CS. So they're relying a lot on the mechanics that their solo laners have in form of Asidia and Bam. They're, despite being behind in basically a lot of aspects, like in the jungle, like in the bot lane, they're actually catching up in the top lane and the mid lane, which is actually great that they have two separate lines of saving grace in this case. And that's where I guess TUP is gonna start defending their those advantages, and they will have to build that up if they want to get back into the lead.
Definitely. So yeah, we'll just have to see though. Again, we are transitioning into the mid game. The tricky part here is that TUP, they're actually very proactive. Like we have seen in game 1, they like to pull the trigger quite a bit. UC actually pulling the trigger quite well as well. But again, we'll just have to see mid game. Now that it's kind of equal, like I mentioned, the goal difference actually speaks for itself, wherein it's still anyone's game. So I feel like the bigger clash will actually determine the flow of the game. It looks like this will happen. Oh no, Rip Herald quite transitions into a full war for both teams right there. But unfortunately, Kisi, the first to fall. Akinos actually being chased down by Asidia. TUP Chan in exchange actually gets hung in the back line. Akinos trying to run this out, but Navi actually in the vicinity. Unfortunately, Akinos not able to blast out into the red.
Yeah, we were talking about advantages. TUP went straight for the advantages that we were talking about. They went all in for Kisi. They went all in on Akinos, and they were able to kill it really easily. And that was amazing. There was a little response that TUP made. They were able to get so much. And that's a tower from the Rift Herald as well.
And you know what's interesting here is that because so many members of UC are down, this might be one of the more optimal uses of the Rift Herald right now. They'll be able to get 2 mid lane turrets to boot.
And that's two mid lane turrets within 30 seconds. TUP knows how to take advantage of a small chink in the armor. You don't want TUP to have any look at it. Right now you see here, TUP was already set up really well. Asidia zoning free members, they were able to distribute the damage really carefully. Chan also with the assassinations. And it was great that Navi also, despite being behind, was able to pick up that kill. Of course, there's a small cleanup there from Mob, but basically all of that was in favor of TUP.
Yeah, and it looks like UC will be going for this Mountain Drake though. But the tricky part here is that it's such a shame because UC had such a great start, but as you can see, just that one clash made all the difference to get TUP back in this game.
Yeah, it's kind of scary how UC is not snowballing as hard as they should with this amount of lead that they surpassed.
No,
right now,
Mizian is going to be in trouble though. Knockup actually missed though as Mizian forced to flash away. Will they be able to catch up though? That's going to be the slow. Weaver's Wolf to actually cancel out any form of escape. Cry ultimately getting the kill.
Nail in the coffin there for Misa N. And this also might net a turret. We were talking about how UC is not snowball.
Whoa, that's
right
going to
now,
be the cataclysm
Mob.
though. Chan actually might be in trouble here himself. Goes down to Kisi. UC actually, this will be the comeback that they need. 2 members of TUP down. Bam actually split pushing, but that's a very slow push from the mid laner right there. So UC could actually continue to keep this up as Mob actually teleports to divert this. So yeah, Bam forces back away.
Yeah, after that failed one, I think UC was able to capitalize and take advantage of their item spike, and they're starting to dish out the damage that they need to. And that's, I guess this is going to be a sort of more of a snowball that is supposed to have to work. This is what you want to see from UC, and I think so far they're doing well right now.
Yes, there you go. We might actually see a fight happening as Bam just around the corner. They don't have vision on him. Will be scouted out by Lens, and this is gonna be a fight, maybe Mob as well within the vicinity, but it looks like they'll just be joining for the extra precaution if TUP continues. But wow.
Yeah, failed flash there as well from Bam. He should have actually made that work, but somehow I think they're starting to tilt just a little bit, and they're just trying to get grasp on the situation again. Because they could have gotten a lower tower down if UC didn't hesitate. I think they could have gotten that inhibitor turret from the bottom. For the middle as well, I think even though Bam was alone there, the creep wave is actually pretty optimal. So both teams showing a bit of hesitation. And I think that's because they want to get set up for the Baron. Oh my god, Misa N
as well. Caught in a very awkward position right here. Here comes the Weaver's Wall from Kisi though. Misa N goes down to Kisi once again. 14 and 10 in favor of UC. Will they be going for this Baron though? Might be dangerous, but still, we'll see if they'll try it.
Yeah, second time in the span of 2 minutes that Misa N got caught off by himself alone when setting up the wards. I think that's what you also have to give props to UC for knowing that you. Oh my god.
So look at that. Tempered Fate actually connecting onto Bam though. They go for him. They know he's very squishy. TUP, 3 members remaining here. They're converting. UC really wanting to collapse on these targets right here. Actually, Chan actually takes out the Bard though. Navi as well manages to take down Kisi. Things are actually going in for the reverse. Navi gets the double kill. Members of UC Cry and Mob try to chase down Chan to concede themselves, but TUP actually on their tail. Will they be able to escape though? Chan though going to jumps away though. Acedia might actually be going for the slave here along with Navi. Cry in a very awkward position. Takes the Baron damage as well. My oh my. Back and forth this game is going.
That was really great engages from UC initially. They knew that Syndra, when jumped on by a Jarvan, is mostly gonna panic, and he's not gonna be able to pull off the necessary CC because Syndra's CC chain does need a little setting up to do, and they were able to catch Syndra off guard. Pero more of the issue here was the follow-on. It was very clean that how they took on Bam, but somehow UC I think overstepped, and that magical journey actually got them in a wrong position where Acedia is able to go AoE, and Chan also able to kill that. Basically, it's the Acedia game all over again. You went into a magical journey into a raging alligator. What were you thinking? I mean, basically, that's the downfall of that flash, and you will see that they will actually get cleaned up afterwards. Basically, that's yun lang eh. Okay na sana yung initiation, okay yung execution, yung follow through medyo sumobra.
Yeah,
alam mo yun?
There's still a little bit of work that UC needs to do, but one thing that I really like about UC right now is they're definitely showing signs of life, clearly showing that they could actually go head-to-head with TUP, and it's actually TUP that might actually need to learn from this game too, because they were a little bit overconfident in the early phases of the game, and this is why they're struggling so much, because UC just capitalized on it. And again, this is actually a very interesting trend. It just goes to show that this first matchup right here, there's a good reason why these two teams made it all the way to the semifinals, and both teams are actually showing just that. They're proving it. Why actually?
Definitely. I would say that TUP did feel a bit overconfident, and I think they're catching up and they're slowly realizing their mistakes. Although what you want to see here is you want them to up the tempo, but not like that, how we saw earlier, where it was kind of off vision. You want to chase them just right. You want to be able to play safe pa rin, because you know there's a Baron in play. any sort of mistake, especially the 20 past 20-minute mark, they can actually do a free man Baron if they opted to, if you get wiped out. And that's something that you don't want to see. And UC, again, we have to emphasize, please, if you want to win, you have to play safe. And for TUP, if you kind of just do what you did earlier, where you capitalize on the mistakes that UC makes, you will actually go ahead. Because basically your mechanics are kind of given, wherein medyo magtatalo tayo dito sa decision making on both of these teams.
Definitely. And here we go though. TUP actually establishing some level of vision. They want to make sure that they develop some level of control in that Baron bit. Because what's interesting here is that this Baron pick is pretty much for anyone here. It all depends on who manages to wipe out who first. Well, is it going to be UC or will it be TUP? TUP might actually be transitioning into this Baron, this Dragon pick though.
Yeah, this is going to be very dangerous as well for UC because vision not very optimal. You could get picked off, and they were able to finish Dragon in record time. That was great.
Yeah, and UC actually won't be able to. And what's interesting here is that if you're going to look at the Dragon takes this route from TUP, you're really going to benefit from that bonus damage. And this kind of helps balance the fact that Navi is in a... Well, if you look at the composition of TUP, they actually have some pretty vulnerable targets. The Kha'Zix, the Syndra, the Draven to an extent. So because of that internal Drake, it actually, with the damage amplification, it allows them faster... It allows them to clear out UC before UC gets into a position to retaliate. Because if you're going to look at UC right now, the only form of heavy burst, in my opinion, that they have is actually in the form of PC. Cry and Akinos, they need to kind of wear down members of TUP first before they could actually really get things going.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I think so far, TUP is itemizing pretty much optimally as well on the Draven. We see that Bloodthirster and Phantom Dancer. That's gonna be basically gonna make for a tankier Draven, and you see them splitting him on top, diba? So they still want this Draven to push further because you don't want to just stay on the defensive. Because we have a Caitlyn on the other side that has pretty much great critical items and armor penetration, and that's basically what you need on the Caitlyn. Meanwhile, both teams are actually starting to hit their item spikes, and this is gonna be, I think, the start of a great setup for Baron. I think both teams are trying to get their foothold vision-wise, and I think UC is starting to feel confident, although they will have to be a bit more careful because, again, ito na naman yung sabi natin kanina, yung vision kasi medyo alanganin pa. So you don't want to start anything, but now TUP does.
There we go. Mob actually tries to get caught up, but actually needs to joust away.
Okay, they baited that. They just baited some ultimates there, and that's gonna make it a bit harder to start the Baron. Yeah. So they're gonna go instead for the turret.
Actually, John manages to jump away, but looks like this is gonna be the fight. Cry goes into the fight, though UC a little bit slower on the follow-up, but it doesn't matter. Azidia in the middle of everything, taking a lot of damage. Navi actually manages to take down Akinos right off the bat. This is not going well. Only 2 members of UC left. Kisi and Hong will try to fend this off. All 5 members of TUP actually still very much alive. They have the option of pushing, but they might actually they decide to continue the push here. They could very well much take down this tower here, and they will be transitioning this into an inhibitor as well. And there's just so many options here at this point. With that inhibitor thing, they could potentially go for Baron or play mid-saver. Navi, though, very gutsy, eventually gets shut down. A little bit overconfident there. It doesn't matter. Inhibitor's still up. There we go. But yeah, looks like TUP will be back away. A little bit of an overstep there by Navi, but doesn't deter them from the overall objective, which is the inhibitor.
TUP feeling very confident, and I think this was mostly because of UC's initiation. Again, we're going into a fight where you don't want your jungler half already, and you actually, kung makikita mo dito, medyo maganda yung focus ng yung position ng AD carry and ng QC, pero na-wipe out pa rin sila eh. And TUP, ang galing ng mga frontliners sila. Na-balance sila yung damage between their fronts. And yan, no, swap agad, oh. So, basically, that's UC, again, a sloppy engage. Medyo na-overstep ni Cry. And now, I think they're gonna try to go for a Baron just to force something out of it. But, yeah, they might be successful because TUP is not in optimal position. What will happen here?
Yeah, let's go ahead and check this out here. Azidia, though. John actually trying to see if he can get the steal jump.
Oh!
Still goes to University of Cordilleras, though. John taking a lot of damage, will be going down. Azidia manages to get Akinos once again. Cry in exchange gets shot. This is going to be explosive. UC trying to back away. They want to try to preserve this Baron buff. That's going to be the double kill to Mob, and Kisi trying to run for their life. They want to save that Baron. Still, wow. Very, very much of an overstay for UC, I'd say.
Right, that was actually exactly an overstay, and I think that Baron is going to work against them because now they'll have waves and waves of minions going all over the place in the middle, in the top, now in the bottom as well. I think that Baron kind of just cost them a lot of the game. The tilt is now happening in favor of TUP, and despite not having the Baron buffs, they are the ones initiating the push now. I guess what we can see earlier that happened was UC, the wave management was not optimal. They were not in a position to go for a Baron, and we'll see here, kind of 50-50 on the Baron steal. TUP is actually in great position to get these kills. Asidia taking up a lot of damage. Again, 3 people basically on the aggro with him, and everyone's getting punished left and right in the side of UC. Asidia just surviving and just the dealing amount of damage. It's actually amazing that he was able to survive that long.
Exactly, and we'll just have to see how this will translate, because again, like you mentioned, it's definitely in TUP's court right now. Looking at the gold difference, it speaks for itself. 5,000. I'd pretty much still say it's still anybody's game, because UC's, the tricky part here with UC is that because their ults were down in that previous clash, which led to their inhibitor loss, they really need to choose their fights correctly. Once those ults are down, they might need to restrain themselves, because if TUP still has access to their own ult, then things might actually go south for them. They need every single advantage they can get when going into these clashes right now. But still, nonetheless, I'd still say it's anyone's game. It's just that UC definitely in a trickier position, because despite that Baron buff, technically they don't have the room to really go for these pushes right now, because they have to defend. Again, there's a super minion wave pushing in that mid lane, all the more trickier for them.
And that's actually, you have to give props as well to TUP, because they're managing these waves carefully. Over the objectives, kakaspawn lang yung objective, tignan mo yung wave sa top, sa bottom, even sa middle, they're starting to go down, and TUP is taking advantage of every positional. They know when the spawns are gonna happen, and they know that they have the power to take these advantages. And that's just basically great macro from TUP at this point.
Yeah, and there we go. TUP will be transitioning to this bot lane as well. So we'll just have to see. This might actually be explosive once again. Mob actually recalls back in case things do get dirty in this fight right here. But looks like TUP will be taking their time for the meantime. You know, technically, definitely, they shouldn't be overstepping their boundaries right now, because like I mentioned, still anybody's game. They can't be complacent just yet.
Yeah, TUP has this advantage, and they don't want to let go. Right now, positional advantage, and of course, like I keep mentioning, creep wave advantage in the middle and the bottom lane. So they're gonna have to, basically keeping they're keeping UC focused on defending, and here we are, search and win again, guys.
Oh yeah, there we go. Of course, type in that if you want to be one of the many peeps that will win a mystery gift. You know, malay nyo, makachamba kayo na, especially with the ribbon and Yasuo skin coming out.
Oh yeah.
Very, very good. But remember, fingers crossed for Bahamama, you don't want to get the 60 RP skins either. But yeah, I mean, going back into this game, what's interesting is that despite that awkward situation wherein only 2 members of UC benefited from that Baron, luckily, yun yung saving grace nila. TUP was on the offensive to try to push those waves, to try to get more towers. But luckily, because of that Baron buff, medyo nahinder si TUP.
Yeah, I can't believe hindi tayo medyo makaget over dun sa nangyaring
because
Baron na yun. Kasi ang laki talaga eh.
It was
ang
a
laki
monumental.
nangyari eh. Kasi siguro if UC waited maybe a bit more for their cooldowns, like you mentioned, their cooldowns were off. Everything was off, and they forced the Baron. Maybe if they had the ultimates there, they could have survived, and they would have had the 5-man or 4-man Baron buff at least, and they would have been able to control the waves even better. Pero because of that missed decision, that maybe 10-second or 5-second miscalculation, they only had a 1-man Baron buff to defend a single lane, and TUP continuously got these advantages. dumadagdag yung advantage. And right now, nasa base na naman sila.
There you go, and looks like TUP really wants in back at this inhibitor. They want to take it out again, and fast they are, especially with Infernal Drake and Mountain Drake. It's pretty easy for them indeed. So, oh no, Mob is like trying to find something. Unfortunately, he doesn't get the connect onto the Motion Standard.
So what does what do you think UC should do in this point? You're right. This is still anybody's game. That goal difference is not as that's kind of massive. It's 6K, but it's not gonna mean as much.
John actually might find himself in an awkward position. Might try to win away, but then he could get the easy jump out. But yeah, you know what's really tricky here? Oh,
they're still going for it.
Actually doesn't connect onto Navi, but Navi, that's only 180 carry. He finds himself in a very awkward position indeed. All members of UC focus fire on him, but members of DFP actually win the Assyria in the middle of everything manages to take down Hong. This is going way too south fast for UC. Assyria now on a rampage double kill. Going to Navi. This is going to be cleaned up with only Mob. Only remaining member gets Polymorph. Will be going down. It doesn't matter. 4 members of the TUP. Will they finish this game though? Those are very heavy death time as they are ramming.
My God, that's the ace for TUP. UC. Partner yung UC na baliktad. Sila yung engage. Akala nila kuha nila si Navi. No, TUP had the plan. They were able to teleport in Assyria, and they were able to have Misa in the right position. The rest of TUP just had to walk into place, and they were able to capitalize UC. They were pincered in place, and that's basically just TUP responding with great accuracy. That's going to be an inhibitor. And do you think this is a game?
I don't know. There's still almost... Members of UC might actually be up in just a bit. If anything, they might be able to take these Nexus turrets though, and they'll be forced to back away for the meantime, but it doesn't matter. There's a huge advantage on their court. But yeah, I mean, what's really interesting is that... Okay, here's one of the problems here that I feel really went wrong for UC going into this mid and late game. If you're going to look at all the classers, there's one thing that's constant. The first person that usually almost always falls is Akinos.
Right.
Why? Because TUP knows for a fact that once you take down Akinos, it's not as hard for them to take down the rest of the members. So let's go and check out.
So here, a Weaver's Wall and the Tempered Fate trying to get to Navi. Navi just outsmarted a lot. Binuhos talaga lahat kay Navi. Pero kinawang ganda ng follow-up sa the rest of the protection from Assyria and Misa. And now you see, nung hindi nila napatay si Navi, naguluhan sila. What are they gonna do? They just started running into random directions and they just tried to kill whoever they could reach. But that doesn't really work in these kinds of scenarios where the team is optimally placed. You really have to know what you're trying to do, and if you fail to do it, you have to have a backup plan. UC did not have a backup plan in case they fell through, and that's why TUP won that fight.
There you go. UC though actually spots off Assyria. Will he continue to chase though? Assyria actually just walking it off, but still you have to consider the fact that Assyria does have Guardian here, but looks like they'll be transitioning into the Baron. They do get spotted though. Very gutsy move from UC. Whether or not they'll be able to take it down in time, that's the question. TUP though very much within the vicinity. This is gonna be the fight though. Gets cancelled by the Weaver's Wall. This bomb. Assyria taking a lot of damage, but still he's very tanky in a way, so looks like they'll be forced to back away from this Baron for the meantime. Chondo taking the damage of the Baron. Still, both sides trying to see if they could get a pick off. Very dangerous for Mob, though they will be forced to back away. Akinos as well taking a lot of damage. Walking, and looks like TUP actually might be in the position to take the Baron themselves.
That's right, it's kind of scary. Because you know, UC, they were in a position of power. And
Tempered Fate though, soaring, flying though. Stops it though. Will TUP continue this? Yes, they are very much within position though. Cry still very healthy. Could go for the steal if they continue. Here goes the teleport over Mob. This might be the fight that we're looking for. Gets the kill. Bam! Gets stunned though. Chondo manages to take down Cry prior. Shut down onto the Draven. It's gonna be a 2-for-1 so far. Things are getting very nasty. Mob trying to walk away. Assyria still on Hong's case though. That's only going to be 2 members of UC alive and make that just one. Mob very low on health. This could be the game though. TUP definitely at it. Look at those waves. This is definitely poisoning themselves for another victory. Although very tricky. Took a while. Definitely on top right there. There goes the Nexus though. Mob, this is going to be the final stand though. Will he try to defend this? That won't be the case. One is not enough. Congratulations, TUP, Technological University of the Philippines, taking game 2.
Oh my God. You know what was happening here in a lot of these matches? Kung mapapansin mo, ang nangyayari, UC ang nag-engage. Sila yung sumusubok na you have to give props to UC. They're really trying. sila yung susubok mag-engage. Nandun na sila, position na. Somehow, TUP is still getting ahead. Even though they are behind in the position, they are the ones getting chased. They are the ones who are getting away with the kills instead. So, UC is, I like how UC is trying. They're being proactive. They're trying to do the plays that they know they need to do. It's just that the follow-through and the execution. Nagiging problema.
So yeah, let's go ahead and check out the standings here though. Very interesting. Again, nag-struggle si TUP, like especially in bot lane. Pero I'm actually surprised. ACD, not a single death to his name still. So, kahit medyo nag-struggle yung TUP, he still has an impeccable KDA. Pero, I gotta hand it to UC. They had such a great start. It's just that there's still those small things that need fine-tuning. Again, positioning was one of the things that kind of went wrong for them. Akinos always getting picked off a lot. And technically, Akinos was the saving grace for them. You know, he was in such a great lead. But that being said, TUP knew that. They focus-fired him, took him down easily. And that's the tricky part to say. Looking at TUP's composition, they're very explosive in terms of damage, and they have the tools to just burst down people right away.
And they were able to survive the early game, which is the point of contention. That's where their weakness was eh. If you were able to squish them down in the early game, okay sana eh. Pero you saw that Acedia, 6-0-12 on the guy who's always in front. You have to give props to the gameplay as well. I mean, everyone on TUP played great. You saw that despite the Draven being building defensively, he was actually top damage on that in the TUP side. So great play there from TUP, and that is a clean. You could say clean, I guess. You could say clean 2-0, not a clean 2-0, but very dominating 2-0.
Yeah, there you go.
Nevertheless.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, TUP just one more win away from that, or maybe, just maybe, will we be seeing the reverse sweep from University of the Cordilleras? There's a lot of stories that could be playing out here. Of course, we'll just have to find out later on. But for the meantime, we'll be taking a quick break. We have been your casters for today, Arctic, at your service, fam. And of course, with me is Rockheart. Stay tuned, because when we come back, we'll be heading into Game 3 of this first matchup for the semifinals between TUP and University of the Cordilleras. But for the meantime, stay tuned. This is the Lenovo Low Collegiate League.
Going in on Akinos.
So this is what we're talking about. They're trying to take down Akinos, but Akinos actually survives. This is UC's time to actually gets the kill on Strong. TUP forced to back away, though Navi actually trying to deal the upset kid. Actually, retaliation is real. John getting the kill, shut down on the Cry. That is going to be the double kill roll for TC. That's going to be a 3 for 2 thus far. Mob making some work as well. Oh no, Rip Herald fight transitions into a full war for both teams right there, but fortunately, TC, the first to fall. Akinos actually being chased down by Acedia. TUP Chan in exchange actually gets Hong in the backline. Akinos trying to run this out, but Navi actually makes the unfortunately, Akinos not able to blast out into the red.
Yeah, we were talking about advantages. Oh my god.
So look at that. Tempered Fate actually connecting on the mount, though. They go for him. They know he's very squishy. TUP, 3 members remaining here. They're converging. UC really wanting to collapse on these targets right here. Actually, Sean actually takes out the bar, though. Navi as well. Not just to take down TC. Things are actually going in for the reverse. Navi gets the double kill. Members of UC Cry and Mob try to chase down Chan to concede themselves, but TUP actually on their tail. Will they be able to escape, though? Sean, though, going to jump away, though. Acedia might actually be going for the save here along with Navi. Cry in a very awkward position. Takes this to jump away, but looks like this is going to be the fight. Cry goes into the fight, though. UC a little bit slower on the follow-up, but it doesn't matter. Acedia in the middle of everything, taking a lot of damage. Navi actually manages to take down Akinos right off the bat. This is not going well. Only 2 members of UC left. TC and Hong will try to fend this off. All 5 members of UC actually still very much alive. They have the option of pushing, but they might actually be trying to steal jump. Still goes to the University of Cordilleras, though. John taking a lot of damage, will be going down. Acedia manages to get Akinos once again. Cry in exchange against John. This is going to be explosive. UC trying to back away. They want to try to preserve this Baron buff. That's going to be the double kill of Mob, and UC trying to run for their life. They want to save that Baron. Navi, but Navi, that's only 180 share. He finds himself in a very awkward position. All members of UC focus fire on him, but members of UC actually with the Acedia in the middle of everything manages to take down Hong. This is going way too south fast for UC. Acedia now on a rampage double kill. Going to Navi. This is going to clean up with only Mob. Only remaining member gets Polymorph. Will be going down. It doesn't matter. 4 members of TUP
Will it be the fight that we're looking for? Yet to give out! Yes, Nardo Chondo manages to take down Fryer. Shot down onto the Draven. It's going to be a 2-for-1 so far. Things are getting very, very nasty. Bob trying to walk away. Asilia still on space though. That's only going to be 2 members of UC alive. And make that just the final stand. So will he try to defend this? That won't be the case. 1 is not enough. Congratulations, TUP, Technological University of the Philippines. Take it.
Oh my god. You know what?
Not enough Garena shells to buy the latest League of Legends skin? On sale now? Get shells anytime, anywhere with your Globe or Touch mobile number. Go to gamer.com.ph and sign up with your mobile number and enter the verification code you will receive via SMS. Log in and choose the game and pin you want. Check out to purchase the pin with your load or through your postpaid account and receive the pin on your phone instantly. Never miss a sale on your favorite League of Legends skins and champions with Gamer.